we are going to see the properties of metals and non-metals. But in previous standard, you have seen that how elements are classified into metals and non-metals. And you know that in a modern periodic table, there are total 118 elements. All of these elements are being classified on the basis of its properties. This all you are going to see in detail in chapter 5. But for this chapter, we will see how elements are being classified by the basis of properties into metals, non-metals and metalloids. So, today we are going to see basically about metals, but before going on metals, we will do a very quick revision about what are metals, what are non-metals and what are metalloids. So, if we need to define metals, we can say that metals are those elements which are having high electrical conductivity. I am repeating, metals are those elements which are having high electrical conductivity. For example, aluminium, copper, gold, those are nothing but metals, and there are many more metals in periodic table also. Now if we talk about non-metals, then non-metals are those elements which are having lower electrical conductivity, right? So those are known as non-metals. If we select oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, chlorine, all of these are nothing but known as non-metals. Now coming to metalloids. So metalloids are nothing but those elements which are having lower electrical conductivity in compared to metals and higher electrical conductivity in compared to non-metals. That means metalloids are nothing but consisting both properties of metals as well as non-metals. So this is what the classification of metals, non-metals and metalloids. We will see this in detail with the form of flowchart. Now, as I told you, elements are classified on the basis of three. We can say one is metals, and I told you metals are those elements which are having high electrical conductivity. So, and I told you the example of metals are aluminium, copper and gold, right? Then I told you about non-metals, that is those elements which are having less electrical conductivity, and the examples of non-metals are oxygen, nitrogen and chlorine. These are the example of non-metals. And the very last classification is metalloids. Metalloids, the example of metalloids are germanium and silicon. And there are many more metals, non-metals and metalloids which have been classified in our modern periodic table. So students, if we need to see the more information about metal, non-metal and metalloids classification, you can refer page number 86 of the 5th chapter, where there is a modern periodic table given, and in an exact manner, very beautifully it is mentioned which elements come under consideration of metals, which comes under non-metals and which are metals. So students, as I said in the previous video, that in the modern periodic table, very beautifully it is mentioned what are metals, what are non-metals and what are metalloids. So this is a metals, non-metals and materials. If we see, so students, as I told you, this is the start of modern periodic table, and in this we are going to see metals. So if we see, there are metals like aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium, lead, C. These all are nothing but metals. Now if we see about non-metals, then non-metals are like nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, etc. These all are non-metals. Now if we see about, so all the elements are being classified on the basis of their properties. Similarly, even these metals, non-metals have their own physical and chemical properties. In that, we are going to see first the physical properties of the metals. Right? So we are going to see the physical properties of the metal, and we are going to see these properties with the help of activities. So students, as you see in your textbook, the very first activity is activity 3.1. So what is this activity 3.1? In this activity, we are going to take iron, aluminium, copper and magnesium. We are going to take all of these elements and we are going to just observe their appearance, how they look. Do one thing. In the very next step, what we are going to do? We are going to rub all of these metals with sandpaper. And as soon as you rub with sandpaper, you will be able to see some changes in the appearance of this metal. That shows the metals are having lustrous properties. And writing over here, metal are having lustrous properties. That means metal are lustrous, they are shiny. I'll show some example. See, what is this? Right. This is a water bottle, and this is bottle made up of steel. You might be using this bottle. If you see, this bottle are also some shiny. You can see the shiny appearance on this bottle, and this shows that this element, that is metals, are having the property of luster. And luster means those elements which are metals are shiny surfaces. If you see gold, this is a gold ring, and even this gold ring is shiny. Even if it is silver, even it is also shiny. That sounds that metal are having lustrous properties, means metals are shiny layer. They have shiny layer. That is what the first property. See, moving on, the very next property. That is, for that we are going to see activity 2, 3.2. Now what we are going to do in activity 3.2, we are going to take metals. Which metals? We are going to take iron, aluminium, copper, magnesium again. Now we are going to take all of these elements. We will take all of these elements, we'll observe it properly. Now, we'll take a knife, a sharp knife. First, I'll take iron. See, for that, what you can do, you just take an iron nail, a screw, which probably all we have at our home. We'll take an iron nail and try to cut that nail. You will see, we will not be able to cut that nail. Similarly, if I go for aluminium, if I go for copper, if I go for magnesium, none of this element we will be able to cut, because this shows that metals are hard. That means the very second property, the physical property of elements are that they are hard. So I can say that metals are hard. But there is always exceptional case. If we take sodium, you all might have seen sodium. See, sodium is soft, and even I take that sodium, I dry it up and just cut with a knife, I will easily able to cut that sodium into 2 pieces. Why? Because sodium is not hard. Even although sodium is a metal, although Fe is a metal, although magnesium is a metal, still these are not breakable or not dividable by knife. But we can see that sodium can be cut into pieces. That sounds that sodium is soft. Being a metal, it is soft, and rest of the metals are hard. So from metal to metal, the property of this metal varies. Some are hard, some are soft. And you know that sodium is highly reactive to atmosphere. So whenever you conduct such activity, you need to very carefully while using sodium. Make sure you don't come directly in contact with sodium. And you also know that always sodium is been kept in kerosene so that it remains unreacted with nature. This is what we have seen very two properties. One, the sodium. So all the elements of metals are having physical property, that is they are lustrous, they are having shiny material, and second, they are hard. And from metal to metal, this property can be varies. Some may be soft, some may be hard. So this was all about the first two property. So we have seen two of the properties. Now we will see the next topic. For that you can see activity 3.3 in your textbook. What we are going to do in this activity? We are going to see that in activity 3.3 we are going to take metals such as iron, zinc, copper, lead and Ag. Now if you take all of this metal, take a hammer and just try, consider this is a metal, consider this is a metal, and try to hammer that, take a hammer, strike a hammer on the metal for 2 to 3 times. You will see that my metal will turn into thin sheet. If I take this example of a scale, this scale is made up of, correct, this scale is made up of steel, and you know even this scale is big for preparing the thin sheet of the scale. Even the steel might be hammered, might be struck with a hammer for twice to thrice time, and then we are able to get this fine thin sheet of steel. Also students, if you see aluminium foil, which keeps your food very hot and you normally use it in tiffin, that is made up, the name consists aluminium foil, that means it is made up of aluminium. If you see that aluminium foil is made up of aluminium, that means the metal aluminium has been hammered, it has been made up of thin sheets. That means metal is consisting the element of malleability. That is, that metals can be made into thin sheets. As we saw the example of steel scale, second we saw the example of aluminium foil. Now whenever you use aluminium foil, just notice how the aluminium foil is so thin, so symmetrical. That means it is being thick as it consists the property of malleability. This is the very third property of metals. Now we will see the activity 3.4. That is, in this activity we are going to see just take all of these metals again, or you can take all the metals which are there in your home. Okay, you know that we are using aluminium at home, we are using copper at home, we are using steel at home. Take all of these metals, right? So now for example consider iron, zinc, copper, lead, gold. Now what I am going to do? I am going to, as we have seen, these metals can be made into thin sheets, that is malleability. On the same way, these metals can be made into wires. So such is known as ductility. If I take this is an iron wire. See, you can see the rustling of this wire. That means it is basically iron. It has been corroded. If you see, this is a wire. So even From metals, we can make them into thin sheets, which is malleability. On the same time, we can make metal into wires, which is being used for electrical purpose or many other purpose. So that wires just shows that metal consists the property of ductility. And one more thing, if you see gold, all you might have seen gold. Even gold, the basic and the best metal which we can say have the good ability of ductility and malleability is gold, because 1 gram of gold, from 1 gram of gold we can draw approx 2 kilometer long wire from 1 gram of gold. That sounds that such a good capacity or good property gold consists. This is what we have seen, two properties about malleability and ductility. So I am just adding here over here. Which property we have seen? Right, we have seen malleability. We have seen malleability, and the last we have seen ductility. So here we have seen four properties. So now if you see the vessels at your home, if you see gold ornaments of your home, you wear gold chain, it is circular. If you wear bracelets with this design and all. If you see my watch, I am wearing a watch, even it has been plated with silver. So it has been circular. That means metals can be given any shape. It can be given square. If you see about this bottle is it has been round. From here it is somewhat flat. So I can give as much as, I can even give a cone shape to any metal. That means by the property of, okay, one more thing. If you see these keys, all you might have keys, bike keys, house keys. You can see different shape of these keys. That sounds that each of the elements have the property of malleability and ductility, due to which we can give any shape to the metal. So this was all about the four properties. That is, first we have seen lustrous, hard, malleability and ductility. So students, in previous video we have seen four properties. Now we are going to see the very next two properties. That is, we are going to see the activity number 3.5. Now, for this we need some of the arrangements. So what we will do? We need a stand. See, I am just making you the list of the apparatus which we need for this experiment. We need a stand. We need a metal rod. We need a champ. We need a burner or a candle. And also we need wax, as well as we need a pin. Again I am repeating, we need stand, we need champ, we need burner or candle, we need a rod, we need a pin and we need a wax. So total 6 things we need for this experiment. Now what we are going to do? We are going to take a stand. Yes, one more thing, I just told you about metal rod. So in this I am going to use copper and aluminium rod. And you might have seen copper rod or copper foil or copper rod and aluminium rod in laboratories also. So I will take a stand, along with I will attach, consider this is my aluminium rod. This is not exactly, but this consider as an aluminium rod. Consider this is my stand. So this is a stand and this is my rod. And with here I am going to attach a champ so that the rod will perfectly fit. I can fix with this stand. Now what I am going to do, here I am going to apply a wax. Consider this chalk as a wax, and along with I am going to apply a pin, so that I am going to fix a pin with this rod with the help of the wax. I am repeating again. Consider this as a stand. Consider this as a rod. It can be a copper rod or aluminium rod, right? And I am fixing with a champ. Now I am just applying wax over here, and I am going to fix my pin with wax over this rod. Now what I am going to do? Over here I am just going to put a burner, or I can put a candle. Now what you will see, as soon as the candle or burner will hit this rod, the very first thing which is going to melt is the wax. Yes, students. The wax which has been attached over with the pen is going to melt, and you will be able to see pen and this rod both will not melt easily. As more and more temperature will increase by giving heat, you will see slowly this rod will extend. See, for example, this is the rod. As heating, it will not melt so easily. It will extend slowly, and along with it, even the pin in the rod with the rod will also displace. Right? That means this shows that elements are good conductor of heat. And a basic information that means these metals are having high melting point and high boiling point. Because see students, all the metals are not solid and all the metals are not liquid. Some are solid, some are liquid, some are gaseous. So we can consider that metals are having high melting point and high boiling point. Right? This is the third property. That is, our metal is good conductor of heat. So our metals are good conductor of heat. And coming to the very last property of our metal is activity 3.6. So see this activity 3.6. In this activity again we are going to take two metals, copper and aluminium. In this what we are going to see. See this you can do by at home just under consideration of practice. Take a battery, take a bulb, take a switch and take two clip. Along with take a wire. So take a battery. Along with that battery, attach a wire with a bulb, and with that wire put both the end free. At one of the end put clip and other end put a clip. A plastic clip which we normally use for tying clothes, drying clothes. Now what you can do? You can just apply any metal. As we are taking copper and aluminium, apply aluminium and copper wire on that between the both clips. As a the wire, both the end are consisting clips. Apply that wire on between both the clips. You will see as soon as the electricity passes to this wire, you will be able to see that the bulb will blow. I am repeating, the bulb will blow because metals are good conductor of electricity, due to which the bulb will blow and the current will pass through this metal. This sounds that the very sixth property which we are getting over here, that metals are good conductor of electricity also. So I can write over here, they are good conductor of electricity. Now students, at your home you might have seen copper wire, aluminium wire. Whenever you are doing wiring work, boys are might have seen many videos. You might have seen there is PVC. I am writing over here, PVC coating on your wire. Basically, when you do lighting and light is not working, you will be able to see inside there is a copper aluminium wire, and over outwards you will see a plastic coating. As you know, why we are applying plastic coating? Because electricity cannot pass through plastic, so that coating is nothing but PVC, which is polyvinyl chloride. It is the coating of polyvinyl chloride which used as insulator. So in electric wire we will find the coating of PVC, and inside this we will be able to see this copper, aluminum, many other wires of this metal, because we have previously seen that the metals are having the property of ductility. They can be made into wires, thin wires. So we we have seen basically six properties. Very first is they are lustrous, they are having shiny materials. Then we are seeing they are hard, right? Because when we are cutting it, we are not able to cut even iron. And we have seen they are malleable, that aluminium foil, they can be made into thin strips. And then we saw about ductility, that it is very ductile, it can be made into thin wires. And then we saw that they are good conductor of heat, right? And at the end we saw they are good conductor of electricity. But students, you are using many metals at your home. You are having food in this dish which is made of steel. Whenever that dish falls down, you might have seen a sound is being created, right? Why this sound is created? Question arises now. For example, I am just taking this scale. Now I am just dropping the scale down. Well, can you hear the sound? Right. That is nothing but that is sonorous sound. I am writing sonorous sound. Sonorous sound. So what is sonorous sound? A deep, intense sound which is obtained from metal. I am repeating. A deep, intense sound obtained from metal. So you have seen when I am dropping the scale down, you are able to hear a deep, intense sound, that is nothing but sonorous sound, and that is the very last property of our metal. That means we have seen total 7 properties. They are lustrous, hard, malleability, ductility, good conductor of heat, good conductor of electricity, and at the least they are sonorous. So this is all for the video that we have seen, that we have seen the classification of elements. We have seen on the basis of metals, non-metals, metalloids. Along with the example, we have seen that they have physical as well as chemical properties, in which we have seen physical properties with the help of this activity, and we have seen all of these properties. Now we are going to say, now just students note down the homework. The homework is, the very first question, give the properties of metal. Give the physical properties of metal. This is the very first question. And second question, enlist the metals which you are using in daily life. Which you are using in daily life, and try to justify the properties of metals, and try to justify the physical properties of metals. So what you are going to do, basically you are going to enlist all the metals which you are using at your home, find whether does all these physical properties are there in your metal or not. So that you need to justify. So that's all for this video. Thank you.